Welcome back to another review. Today we'll be reviewing TWINO, which is a Latvian P2P lending platform that allows you to invest in consumer and business loans from the TWINO group in exchange for an annual return of around 10%. Before we dive deeper into this review, you should know that it is based on my own experience with the platform over the period of 1 year. Also, this video is not an investment advice. There are no guarantees of any specific returns in P2P lending, and as you might know, there is the risk that you might lose some money. So like any other videos on this channel, this video is not sponsored. However, if you want to support our project, you can use our affiliate links, you can invite us for a coffee, or simply engage with our videos by liking it, commenting below, and subscribing so you don't miss any other future reviews. Alright, so now as we have got this out of the way, let's dive into this TWINO review. By investing in TWINO, you are investing in loans from loan originators who operate under the TWINO group. Currently, there are 4 lending companies listing loans on TWINO. Moneza from Latvia and Russia, NetCredit from Poland, and Vamo from Vietnam, which is actually also co-owned by the Via Invest Group. As we are recording this video, the outstanding portfolio is currently 12 million euro for Moneza in Latvia, 7 million euro for Moneza in Russia, 9 million euro for NetCredit in Poland, and only 500,000 euro for Vamo in Vietnam. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important? Well, by investing on TWINO, you are exposing yourself to certain markets and certain loan types. So it's always good to know to which extent you can diversify your portfolio. In addition to this, it's also good to think about the countries. Certain regulated markets are obviously safer to invest in as opposed to yet unregulated markets. We have recently discussed the lending businesses in Russia with the CEO of the TWINO group, Anastasia Olenika, so I highly recommend watching it here on YouTube or listening to it in our newly released podcast to get an idea of what you are actually funding. So currently there are over 25,000 registered investors who earned in total over 13.5 million in interest so far. The platform was launched in 2015, so it's always good to also know over which time period TWINO paid out the interest. If you want to get more data about TWINO's numbers, I suggest you head over to TWINO's statistics page. Alright, so as we are recording this video, the audited financial statement for 2020 has not been published yet. The TWINO group made a profit of 5.8 million euro in 2019, and according to our talk with Anastasia, the profit is similar to 2020 as well. TWINO is also one of the platforms who is aiming to get an investment firm brokerage license, which will increase the safety of your investments in the future. So now that you have a good understanding of TWINO, let's have a look at some of the returns that the platform is offering. You should note that the returns depend on the type and market in which you are investing. By investing in Latvia, for example, you can expect an annual return of 8 or 10% depending whether you invest in consumer or business loans. In Poland, you will earn 10%, and in Russia, you earn also 10% without a currency exposure, or 14% by investing in rubles. In order to even start investing, you have to first register on the platform. TWINO is available for investors within the European Economic Area. During the registration, you will need to verify your identity and pass the AML requirements. Note that you also have to have a bank account with a dedicated IBAN number in order to make your first deposit to TWINO. You can transfer either euros or British pounds. If you transfer any other currencies, they will be converted into euros. You should note that the transfer of your money takes usually between 2 and 3 working days, and TWINO will notify you when your funds are credited to your investment account. Just don't forget to add the reference number when doing your transfer so TWINO can actually allocate your transaction with your account. So now you might be wondering about the safety of your uninvested funds. Well, TWINO does not have an electronic money license, so you are technically sending money to TWINO's account, which is separated from TWINO's operating account. This is, by the way, the same setup that many European P2P marketplaces and P2P lending platforms are following. So after you have topped up your account, it's time to start investing. You can either invest manually or with the Auto Invest. If you are new to P2P lending, Auto Invest is a tool that lets you set up criteria and invest automatically, and is by far one of the most preferred features by passive investors, as it is going to save you a ton of time. If you want to cherry pick your investments, you can do that by investing manually. This is a bit more time consuming, but also pretty straightforward when investing on TWINO. If you decide to automate your investments, you can choose your total portfolio amount. You can define the investment amount per loan, the interest range, long term, as well as the countries and loan types in which you want to invest. You can also choose to only invest in loans with a buyback guarantee or a payment guarantee. Certain loans on TWINO come with a buyback guarantee, which means that that if the borrower doesn't make a repayment or term extension for 60 days after the payment due date, the loan is bought back by TWINO and the company will return all the funds invested into the loan as well as the interest for the investment period. What's important to note is that loans that come with the buyback guarantee may be extended by borrowers up to 6 times. So now you might be wondering, what's the impact of those loan extensions? Well, in terms of return, there is no impact really. You still get the interest repayments. However, in terms of liquidity, there is some impact as you would need to sell your investments on the secondary market if you wish to withdraw your money after a certain period. Since there is currently no fee for trades on the secondary market, this is not really a big issue, but certainly something you should keep in mind when evaluating the liquidity of the loans on TWINO. So next, we mentioned the payment guarantee. You should note that certain loans on TWINO have slightly different structure. When the borrower does not make repayment in 60 days after the payment due date, the loan status changes to defaulted and you cannot sell the loan on the secondary market anymore. However, you continue receiving a monthly repayments of the principal and interest, which is made by TWINO, at least until the end of the loan schedule or until the loan is fully repaid. You should also note that the loans that come with the payment guarantee cannot be extended. The loans that come with the payment guarantee have typically longer loan term, so you really have to cherry pick if you want to invest manually, for example. So that's been the difference between the buyback and the payment guarantee. The most important fact here is that you are still receiving your interest even if the loan is extended or defaulted. And if you wish to exit your delayed loan, you can do that on the secondary market with the exception of defaulted loans, which are covered by the payment guarantee. But now let's go back to the auto invest. The feature also allows you to define if you want to invest in loans with various loan statuses or in local currencies. If you decide to invest in a foreign currency, aka rubles in the case of TWINO, you should take into consideration the currency value fluctuation when entering and exiting your investments. This adds a little bit of complexity into your portfolio, and personally I haven't done it on TWINO as our testing portfolio is rather small. Before you invest, I highly recommend reading the assignment agreement to be fully aware of your rights. That's, by the way, something that you should do on any platform anyway. Also, the platform offers opportunities into real estate-backed loans that are backed by a TWINO guarantee or a mortgage. Personally, I have another preferred platform for real estate investments, so I have not tested investing into those projects on TWINO, but if you have, let me know your experience in the comments below. So by now, you have a really solid understanding of how TWINO works. But before we conclude this review, let me share with you some of my findings over the past year. Our testing portfolio for this platform consists only of Russian short-term loans with a duration of 30 days and annual interest of 10%. Currently, out of 100 investments, 42 are current, 31 are extended, and 27 are delayed. The goal of this portfolio is not necessarily the high liquidity, which means that the extended and delayed loans don't really bother me as we still earn the interest for them. If you really need high liquidity, then this is something you should certainly consider. You could either invest in loans from lenders which are typically not delayed or extended, or sell your investments on the secondary market if you want to exit earlier than the end of the loan term. The secondary market is also quite useful as TWINO also offers more long-term installment loans or even some real estate loans. So if you have invested in those and you want to exit your position, the secondary market is a good feature to use. To sell your loans, you simply navigate to My Investment tab and define the price for which you want to sell your loans and confirm the transaction. As soon as other investors buy your claim, you will get the amount added to your account balance and you can either reinvest it or withdraw it, whatever you prefer. Currently, there is no auto invest for the secondary market. The only option for investors to buy loans from the secondary market is to invest manually. So the total return for this portfolio is pretty much 10% per year before the taxes, which is quite solid considering you don't have any pending payments or loans in recovery from suspended lenders like on Mintos. Overall, TWINO makes a solid impression. They have improved their transparency over the past few months quite a bit. The platform is very easy to use and the performance over the past 12 months has been very stable, which is good considering the dynamic environment many lending operators have faced due to the COVID pandemic last year. So now you might be wondering whether there are some disadvantages that you should consider. As TWINO is a smaller platform, your diversification will be obviously limited and you might experience cash drag at some point. Also, the loan extensions might influence the liquidity, but that's what the secondary market is good for. TWINO is certainly more suitable for investors who are looking for exposure in markets where TWINO is operating and don't mind to get a stable return of 10%. Personally, I also appreciate the transparency and professionalism of TWINO's CEO, which is certainly not as common amongst various other P2P lending sites. So based on our 1 year experience with TWINO, our extensive research of their business models, and our latest interview with the CEO, we can give a positive recommendation for this platform. It's actually also one of the platforms that made it to our list of the best P2P lending sites to invest into in 2021. Now, if you want to learn more about TWINO and get yourself an additional bonus, head over to our TWINO review on p2pempire.com, where we also publish the latest news surrounding this platform. If you have been using TWINO yourself, feel free to share your experience in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this quick review. If you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next video.